are we going to go about this? A customer experience management strategy has to follow a proper discipline. It cannot be just our passion and our belief. Our CEO is not going to go for that, and you should not be going for that. This is a strategy that's supposed to align us with customer expectations and allow us to innovate to exceed those expectations. How do you do that? The first step is the define. In the define step, we are paying attention to the voice of customers, we are collecting all their expectations, but we are also asking a very critical questions. Are we really as great? Are we exceptional? Are we crossing the parity line, or we're just delivering to the parity line? And for many organizations, the discoveries are not pretty, but they need to understand what is the experience that we want to deliver? How would it look like? Then after understanding the complete customer journey and understanding where we want to go, we take it to the next level, which is developing. You'll prioritize the specific touch points that are critical for you and start innovating them to make sure that they cross the parity line and they play in the excellence creation domain and not just in the dissatisfiers removal. Then comes the next question, which is, do we have the organization to deliver it? Did we hire the right people? Do we have the right training? Do we have the right incentives? We've often come across organizations that are incentivizing their salespeople on a certain factor, which is counterintuitive to customer experience. So the organized part is marrying our desired blueprint with our organization and is actually looking for ways to align the organization with the new desired performance. The next challenge will come delivery time. Now it's showtime. Now we're on stage. How do we conduct ourselves? What do we need to do differently? How do we handle problems in the moment of truth? How do we delight customers in the moment of truth? And we need to monitor and design the delivery. And then comes, of course, the measurement. It is what you measure. Remember the story I gave you earlier. They were measuring total time of employees. Guess what? They were not paying attention to the customer experience. You are what you measure. Are you measuring the right factors? And more importantly, are you measuring to the highest standards as opposed to average? That's where the measurement program comes in. And ultimately, the redefine. Well, customer experience is not like a wine. It doesn't get better with time. It's more like milk. 2 weeks and you need to get another one. So you need to constantly redefine and redesign, because here's what's going to happen. As it happened to many of our clients, you start delighting customers, your competitions notice, and then they come and try to copy you. You need to be ahead of the game. You need to constantly redefine through a governance model that keep on asking, how do we make sure that our customer experience is fresh, is relevant, is differentiated? The customer experience resides in a complete ecosystem. It's not just the people who face the customer. It's not just the brochure, the website, and the salespeople and customer service, but it's really also legal and finance. And we often forget that we are as good as the weakest link in the journey. That's why understanding the journey and the ecosystem that the customer is experiencing is very critical. I often like to go to the legal people and say, hey, what is your role in customer experience? And they turn to me and says, no, we don't do customer experience here. We're the legal department. You know, we are here to protect the company. And I lowered my voice and I said, who's the enemy? What's going on? And he said, well, it's the customer. I said, oh, it's the same customer that the salespeople is spending so much money to try to acquire that you are now finding to be the enemy. And guess what? When you read terms and conditions of a lot of organizations, you'll find that the legal people did not really think about the customer. They were thinking about the company, and they were assuming that the customers are a bunch of cheaters that they need to actually protect against. And you read it as a customer, and you get insulted. Many of us have read terms and conditions of different vendors that we work with. They don't treat us with respect at all. And we are as weak as the weakest link in the chain. On top of it, in addition to design and direct, we need to interact and contribute. Many organizations responded to the first wave of social media in a hesitation and try to dictate what's going on there. We cannot dictate that. Now the customer is operating on 2 platforms. One which is designed and directed by you, but also a social one that allows them to go and understand and reshape your brand according to their experiences. So now you need to add that to your ecosystem and understand how customers make decisions, how they shape their expectations, and make sure that you balance the design and direct with interact and contribute between the different components of the ecosystem.